I would like to note that the interpreter for this evening is Ms. Ashley Arceniga. Could you please raise your hand? So if anyone needs a listening device, please contact her. Antes de llamar a la Junta a orden, me gustaría notar que contamos con servicios de interpretación para esta Junta y la señorita Ashley Arceniga está aquí. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the City Council meeting of August 5th, 2025. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Here.
Councilmember Flores.
Here.
Councilmember Soto.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo. And Mayor Patino.
Here. City Attorney, Mr. Watson, would you like to give the closed session report?
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council. With respect to items 3A and 3B, which are conference with the legal counsel in the cases listed, instructions were provided to the legal counsel. No further instructions or no further report is necessary.
Thank you. We will now receive a presentation on the fire department's response activities and fireworks enforcement efforts related to July 4th, 2025. The presentation will be delivered by Fire Chief Brad Dandridge.
Madam Mayor, City Council, thank you. The Santa Maria Fire Department responded to 50 incidents in the 24-hour period on the 4th of July, including 14 related fire emergencies. The addition of Engine 6 to the city's deployment allowed our units to quickly and effectively extinguish those fires before they created a greater risk to the community. The additional engine also allowed for adequate ability of personnel for continued response to the medical emergencies while crews were addressing the fires. The department faced a 32% increase in call volume on the 4th, but with their quick and effective mitigation efforts minimized the potential damage. This resulted in no major fire loss within the city limits on the 4th of July. I'd like to acknowledge the professionalism of our personnel and the work they continue to provide for our residents. Illegal firework enforcement also commenced with collaboration between Santa Maria Police Department and our fire investigators on June 30th and continued through the evening of July 4th. Teams were formed and monitored from the ground all calls for illegal firework activity. The department also continued its contract with a third party to monitor activity from the air. An aircraft with video and GPS capability flew the skies over the city on the 4th to observe and geographically pinpoint launches of illegal fireworks. Citations have been and continue to be issued to the identified offenders. It is estimated that approximately 120 citations will be issued this year, nearly doubling the total from last year in 2024. The enforcement teams were also successful in the confiscation of illegal fireworks. Santa Maria PD and fire investigators were able to conduct an operation which led to the arrest for the sale and removed over 150 pounds of illegal fireworks from our streets. This brings our total amount of illegal fireworks confiscated to over 6,000 pounds since 2022. I'd like to acknowledge and thank our Fire Marshal, Jim Austin, his team, and the Santa Maria Police Department for their efforts over this period. Not only did they perform their normal duties, but they also worked long extra hours to minimize the number of illegal fireworks used in our city. Their work will impact and have meaningful change for the future. The Fire Department recognizes the pervasive use of illegal fireworks on the 4th of July and will continue our efforts with collaboration with PD to educate the public and enforce the ordinances we have in place. We will hold offenders accountable. Behavior will not be changed overnight, but with a consistent education and enforcement, we hope to modify the acceptance of illegal fireworks and ensure the safe observance and celebration of the birth of our nation. I would also like to take a moment to share a quick update on a recent Gifford fire located off of Highway 166 east of Santa Maria, which ignited on August 1st. Santa Maria is working with the incident management team for this fire, and we have actually offered use of our facilities in its initial phases. I wanted to share their sincere express appreciation to the city for this accommodation. The latest reports have the fire burning 83,932 acres with only 7% containment. There have been evacuation zones identified in San Luis and Santa Barbara counties, but none identified close to our city limits. The department has committed 2 engines and additional overhead assignments with a totaling 9 personnel to this incident. We will continue to monitor the situation to ensure adequate staffing is always readily available for our city response. That concludes my report. Are there any questions?
Any questions of Chief Dandridge?
Thank you.
You know, I have a question, and it's just probably that relevant, but it shows in the map the different areas. If you live in such the numerical area, then you need to get prepared for evacuation. How do people know where they live? I mean, in those areas?
Yes, the map is real general, Mayor. You're absolutely correct. Hopefully, depending on what app or map you're looking at, you could zoom in and out to pinpoint more accurately. There is excuse me if I may look on my phone, there is an app called Watch Duty
Okay.
that gives you real-time updates, that has a map, has an area that has identified the burn pattern and potential immediate evacuations and potential evacuations for that particular fire.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that update. So the next item on the agenda is the public comment period. Madam Clerk, could you please read the criteria?
Speakers may provide comments on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, maximum of 15 minutes for public comment period. Unless the majority of the council objects, the mayor may provide speakers with more or less time to speak. All comments or queries shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any specific member thereof. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.2A2, the Ralph M. Brown Act, no action or discussion by the City Council shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, except to briefly provide information, ask for clarification, provide direction to staff, or schedule a matter for a future meeting.
Do we have any requests to speak?
We do not.
Okay. So the next item is a consent calendar. Does anyone have items they wish to pull for discussion on the consent calendar? Okay. 12A? None? None? Okay.
12A on the consent calendar? We're looking at 11A1 through 11E1.
We're looking for 11. Public comment, okay. So you didn't have any?
No.
Okay. Okay, consent calendar. So no one has anything to push for discussion?
No. I move that we approve the consent calendar.
I have a motion to approve the consent calendar and a second. Having heard the motion and a second, any discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yes, Madam Mayor, prior to doing so, I just wanted to announce that attachment B of item 11E1 has been revised. A copy of the updated attachment is available at the dais and will also be posted on the city's agenda portal. We also had one written public comments for items 11D1 through 11D4, which is also available in the back and will be online.
Thank you.
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Soto.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo is absent, and Mayor Patino.
Aye. Motion carries. The next item is a public hearing regarding the construction of the Perlman Apartments. The report will be given by the Director of Community Development, Shannon Dow. Good evening, Ms. Dow.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm pleased to bring you tonight the next step in the evolution of our downtown revitalization efforts. In 2015, the City of Santa Maria set forth a vision for the future of our downtown area in the Downtown Specific Plan, and this project will help to implement that vision. An RFP was issued in 2019 for developers who were interested in developing various lands under the Surplus Lands Act that were owned by the city, and this site was one of those that was awarded to the Vernon Group in 2021. In September of 2024, the City Council approved a sales and disposition agreement for this and 2 other sites, and now we are pleased to bring you the opportunity to approve their entitlements. This is the project location on the northeast corner of Broadway and Main Street, adjacent to the existing Union Plaza apartment building. The site consists of 1.2 acres of infill development and has been thoroughly analyzed by CEQA. This is located in the Gateway District of the Downtown Specific Plan, and it is considered a critical corner in our development. There have been a number of opportunities for public input on this process. The first was on May 5th of 2024 with the City Council's conceptual review. Again, on May 29th was the Downtown Revitalization Committee hearing. On June 5th, our Planning Commission held a study session where a great deal of feedback was received from the community, including residents of Union Plaza. And on July 16th was the Planning Commission hearing, at which our Planning Commission voted unanimously in favor of the project with certain additional conditions. Here you'll see the elevations of the project. This does consist of a 6-story multifamily apartment building. It will be all affordable. So this will provide for the need for additional housing for families in our community that cannot afford the market rate apartments and homes that are available currently. An average affordability level of 60% of the area median income, 78 vehicle parking stalls on the bottom podium, and 15 long-term parking spaces will be located within the facility, and additional parking will be provided through an agreement with the city in the adjacent structure across the street. These are additional elevations that show the building from other avenues. We have here our building colors and materials, which illustrate further how the building will look. Importantly, the Planning Commission asked for some additional treatments on the facade that faces north for Union Plaza, and this included a mural. They also added conditions which relocated the elevator to the northeast corner, which provides better alley access for move in and move out, and also gave the opportunity for early notification and application assistance for residents of Union Plaza, so that those who may be concerned about losing their existing view from that side of the building can actually relocate into this building and enjoy the same view of Main Street if they would so choose. Again, the CEQA work was performed as part of the Downtown Specific Plan with the Environmental Impact Report, and that was done in pursuant to CEQA guidelines. We did receive a comment letter related to radio frequencies and from a number of wireless carriers and a board member. I wanted to address that. It asserted that the city should perform a radio frequency hazard assessment and that the EIR associated with the project should account for site-specific RF exposure risks. Telecommunications are governed by the Federal Communications Commission. Federal law explicitly prohibits state and local governments from regulating the placement, construction, or modification of personal wireless service facilities on the basis of environmental effects of radio frequency emissions. Therefore, it would be unlawful for the EIR to analyze such effects. So this is something that if facilities need to be relocated or an assessment needs to be performed, that would fall to the wireless carriers affected. They do have some facilities on the adjacent Union Plaza building, but there will be plenty of time to conduct this. This is just the first step in the process because this is only the entitlement. They will still need to do construction drawings, go through the building permitting process, and secure funding from TCAC. Because this meets the vision of the Downtown Specific Plan, there are a number of incentives that are outlined in the SDA and to which the project is entitled. These include partial fee waivers for the planning application, building plan check, and specified growth mitigation fees. Additionally, consistent with SB 330, fees will be frozen at the current rates. All of those are contingent upon timelines outlined in the SDA and in SB 330. And our recommendation is to adopt the resolution approving the downtown permit. With that, I'd like to hand it over to the applicant, who has their own presentation to provide.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Brad Vernon with the Vernon Group. And I will browse really quick, and then I'd love to answer any questions that anyone has. So the Perlman project, you can see it in the upper right-hand corner with it's the Lot 2 project. It's part of the greater downtown projects that we're doing. Currently, number 5, which is the old Fallis building, we're now calling that the Heritage Walk Lofts. Those are actually going to start construction later this week. And then Lot 3, the Alvin Newton apartments on the corner, those are currently approved, and we're working through our construction documents right now. Lot 2 Perlman is the affordable portion of this downtown greater project. We have been involved in this since 2020. So there has been, and I wanted to thank staff for the indication on when there was public comment, but I would like to point out that this has been in front of the public since 2020 with our multiple projects, and as far back as 2005 with the downtown specific plan. Perspective drawing from looking at this from the boot barn, looking at this from the parking structure. Here's a ground floor site plan and a couple key changes that we've made. We have stepped back the building from Union Plaza. You can see it in the upper right of the site plan grade in to give you context on where that building lines up. The upper floors, you can see that we have reduced the unit count and stepped back the building adjacent to the Union Plaza. Additionally, we have limited the residential units that are at that location. We have laundry and elevator facility at that corner to minimize impacts. Other mitigation items that we have added in, we did a mural. We stepped back the building. We've minimized the windows and put non-living space at that location. And then we have softened the northerly facade with some Juliet balconies. Those would be non-accessible. They're only about 18 inches deep, so they're more of an architectural feature than they are an actual patio. Landscaping on the ground floor, 17%. We were able to exceed the 15%. And in addition to that, for the residents, we have two upper floor pocket parks, one that will have a tot lot and one that will have relaxation seating areas in the middle of the courtyard. So just summarizing it, 150, 100% deed restricted affordable units. These are providing affordable housing for the greater downtown projects. We are in line with the downtown specific plan goals, and we feel that we have a very good, viable project here and welcome your comments.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Any questions? Yes.
My question is.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. My question is to staff regarding the cell tower. I know you mentioned a little bit that we will get to the point where that will have to be looked into a little bit further, but is there anything else that you can offer?
Essentially, there's nothing that needs to be done on the city's behalf at this time to approve the entitlement. If there are concerns based on the wireless carrier's expert opinions of the interference or anything like that of the adjacent building, there is an assessment that can be performed, and that does fall to the wireless carriers to do that. If there's a desire perhaps to relocate some of those facilities to this building or have additional ones on this building, that's a conversation that can be had with the applicant too during this next phase of the process.
What about any exposure to? Could there be any exposure to residents from the cell tower that's located there?
I would say an assessment would be the appropriate avenue to determine that. However, the existing cell facilities are on top of the building that residents currently occupy. So I think it would be a safe assertion that it is safe for the people directly underneath those facilities that share a building with it. So to be across the way, farther away from it, wouldn't pose any greater risk than that, certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilor
So
Flores?
the proximity from one building to another, there wouldn't be reflection from the towers that they have on the roof? Because one's going to be, one building, so the building, the Union Plaza is the tallest building right now, right? So the building you're going to build is how many feet?
It is 71 feet with tower elements that will be as high as 83.
Okay, so what they have on the Union Plaza, the towers up there, I think it's AT&T or whatever transformers
believe
they
several
have up there.
carriers.
So the reflection wouldn't come off of the new building that's going to be built?
The interference or?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that was one of the concerns that was expressed from one of the carriers in the letter. So that's something that they can work through, and we would be happy to facilitate those conversations with the applicant if anything needs to be either relocated or added onto in order to ensure adequate coverage.
Okay.
Thank you. I will open up a public hearing. Now, are there any requests to speak or written comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor, staff received 76 written public comments. Copies are available in the public view binder at the back of the room and online at the city's agenda portal. We also did receive 13 requests to speak in the room today.
Okay. So, okay, 13. Instead of 3 minutes, then I will give you 2 minutes to speak. If anyone would like to be more expeditious, you can come and speak at the beginning, and I will give you 1 minute. Otherwise, the rest of you can have. If you want to have the 2 minutes, go ahead. If you think you can get it done in 1 minute, you will be first in line. So, okay, if not, then 2 minutes, and it'll really help to expedite this if when I call your name, you would get up there, and I will call about 5 names here. Jeff Lee, Susan Sorensen, Cynthia Gasca, Dan Rivetto. Thank you.
All right, I'll do my best to get here under 2 minutes. Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Jeff Lee, and I serve as a board member at Union Plaza, which is directly adjacent to the proposed Perlman apartment site. I also bring over a decade of technical experience as a radio frequency specialist at Vandenberg, where I conducted RF radiation hazard assessments, known as RADHAZ studies, to ensure compliance with FCC permissible exposure limits, or PELs. Union Plaza currently houses approximately 120 residents and supports several active RF transmitters, including microwave links, cellular antennas, and a business band repeater. These systems operate safely today, but the proposed 6-story apartment building introduces new vertical and spatial variables in proximity to those transmitters, especially for upper floor residents, potentially placing them in areas that may exceed FCC public safety thresholds. I've reviewed the city's project documents and want to highlight several serious concerns. No RF radiation hazard assessment is referenced or documented for this project. No coordination has occurred with Union Plaza regarding our rooftop RF systems. We invited David Everett, RF Spectrum Manager for the U.S. Space Force at Vandenberg, to visit the site. Mr. Everett confirmed that if a study had not been conducted, it must be done prior to construction to ensure public safety and regulatory compliance. The city's reliance on the 2007 Downtown Specific Environmental Impact Report is inadequate in this case. That EIR did not evaluate site-specific RF exposure risks associated with the new multi-story residential construction next to RF transmitters. While conditions were added to address resident concerns about blocked views and proximity, RF exposure concerns remain unaddressed. Importantly, federal law under Title 47 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Section 1.1307, subsection B, requires RF exposure evaluations whenever proximity or occupancy changes could increase public exposure risk. This project clearly meets that standard. Failure to conduct an assessment could violate federal regulations and expose both city and developers to liability. I want to be clear, I fully support affordable housing, but I also support responsible development. The health and safety of both current and future residents must not be overlooked. An
Thank you.
independent
Thank
study
you,
must
Mr.
be
Lee.
required.
Susan Sorensen.
Thank you.
By Cynthia Gasca, followed by Dan Rivetto.
I'd like to know how come there couldn't have been like there's enough property over at where Mervin's used to be. There's a lot of property over there that's not being used. Why they couldn't have put 2 buildings and make them totally separate, but 2 buildings instead of, taking away the park. The park is really important to people that live in our building and around the area. I live in an area where I can see it all the time, and it gets used. Maybe there's not 100 people there every day, but it gets used. And it's something that people are rather upset about having, taking that away and you're putting a lot of, how many people do you think are going to be in those 3 buildings within a 2-block area? Does anybody know? That's a lot of
Ms.
people in a
Sorensen,
small area.
Okay, during this time, we don't respond to you. It's public comment, so you can make comments, but we don't respond.
Okay. Anyway, it's a lot of people in a very small area that you're jamming in on top of everything else. So I don't think it's I think there were other choices that could have been made.
Cynthia Gasca, followed by Dan Rivetto, followed by James Seidman, followed by Doreen Worrell, followed by Lonnie E. Fry. Good evening.
Good evening. My question is, well, it's not a question, should I say. My worries is that the parking that the building wants to be in, I'm worried about there won't be no parking for our residents. Our parkings, we could just barely fit enough cars there, especially for the employees. For the new building, let's per se, they have their parking. Are they going to be parking and using the majority of our parking lot there? As well as, I'm not against affordable housing. I think it's great. But the mere fact is, how many residents are going to be living inside one apartment, a husband, a wife, a kid, a teenager, and there's going to be cars after cars. When we end up having an emergency situations, where's our fire department going to be? And in that new building, where are the kids going to play? Where are they going to go? Are they going to be roaming around in the streets? Is it going to be gated? Is there enough room? Down on Broadway's and Main Street, those cars really go fast. Mustangs, semi-trucks, I can hear them pounding and pounding and just going. I mean, the safety of those kids. Are they going to be, are the parents going to be watching their children when they're running around in the streets and those cars are going fast? Are they going to be doing fireworks and disturbing the residents at Union Plaza Apartments? I mean, there's so much. And then that park is such a beautiful, beautiful area for the residents. They walk there, they sit there, they talk, they meditate. Don't take that away. Please, thank you.
Dan Rivetto, followed by James Seidman, followed by Doreen Worrell, followed by Lonnie Fry, followed by Jennifer Reinhardt.
Good evening, Madam Mayor,
evening.
members of the council. My name is Dan Rivetto, and I'm the Director of External Affairs for AT&T. My comments follow our written comments that were submitted earlier today by our legal counsel. AT&T respectfully requests the City Council deny or at least continue consideration of the permit application for the proposed construction of this 6-story apartment tower located at 100 North Broadway. AT&T's existing antennas have a centerline height of 71 feet above ground. The proposed new building would be 71 feet high with tower elements up to 83 feet high, which would block AT&T's south-facing antenna sector and create a significant gap in AT&T's wireless coverage to this very busy commercial area. As council is no doubt aware, wireless services are vital for communications, connectivity, and public safety. AT&T's south-facing antennas on that rooftop will be entirely blocked by the proposed Perlman Apartments, which will obstruct critical wireless services in coverage and capacity to large and busy portions of the city, including the Santa Maria Town Center Shopping Mall, area businesses, Santa Maria Fire Station No. 1, Santa Maria City Hall, the Santa Maria Public Library, the Santa Barbara County offices, including the Superior Court, and the Sheriff's Office. This AT&T facility also provides FirstNet services, which are dedicated to first responders whose communications could be impacted with losses to coverage and capacity. Finally, AT&T is committed to providing reliable wireless services to the city. It objects to the Perlman Apartments as currently proposed. While AT&T appreciates the need for affordable housing, approving this proposal at this time will have the immediate negative impacts on wireless telecommunications in the area. Thus, we urge the City Council to deny this application, or at the very least, to continue this item to allow for the developer, the city, and the wireless providers, which include T-Mobile and Verizon, to explore viable solutions to this serious challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivetto. James Seidman, followed by Doreen Worrell, followed by Lonnie Fry, followed by Jennifer Reinhardt.
Hello. I just want to speak about the building again because I've known a tenant for 19 years. He's got a view of the south facing the park. And if you build that monstrosity, he won't have a view no more. He'll be looking at this monstrosity day after day, day after day. It's like I say, it's not right for that small space. You want to make Santa Maria better, but you're taking it down the other direction. You make it into we're going to feel boxed in. So you know what I'm saying? Because I've talked to a lot of the people over there, and they're very disturbed by what's going on. They had no idea this has gone back to 2005. I wasn't heard of it. I didn't hear of it, so yeah. But I'd never heard it. So, but we're all this upset about what's going on because looking at a monstrosity, albatross, or whatever you want to call the dumb thing, it's just a fancy albatross. That's all it is. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Doreen Worrell, followed by Lonnie Fry, followed by Jennifer Reinhardt.
I'm Doreen Worrell. I've lived there 21 years. I spent 10 years facing Broadway, across from the clubs, the bars, the music, when it was quiet. Now it's louder, the traffic's louder. There's no room for kids to play. If they go out, they're going to get hit by a car and all of that. And the point is, the memorials should stay a memorial, because that represents that person. And I don't think memorials should be disturbed. And another thing is the building that they're building for the grocery center, why didn't they build apartments there? Had more parking, you have the whole mall, instead of putting it on the little corner. So, and as far as affordable housing, I went to see an affordable housing. $1,300 a month. You can ask everybody that lives in Union Plaza. We couldn't afford to pay $1,300. So that's not considered affordable housing. Being under HUD, we are. And it's just not a good idea to put it there. There were other areas to put it. Thank you.
Thank you. Lonnie Fry, followed by Jennifer Reinhardt, followed by Frank Nakare, followed by Ralph Martinez.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor. My name is Lonnie E. Fry. I have been a Union Plaza resident since 2018, and I feel that this apartment building that they're putting up is not necessary for that corner. There will be too much traffic, not enough parking, and it can be built elsewhere. We have the Sugar Beet factory property, East Betaravia, sitting there empty for years. So they go and snatch that little piece of property right there to build a 6-story apartment. It's going to take away everybody's view. Nobody wants the south view of the rooftop of the Santa Maria Town Center building. So my thing is, it doesn't need to be put there. It can be put elsewhere. There's room elsewhere. I know affordable housing is needed. There's a federal or state mandate for more housing in California that's affordable. But has anyone stopped to think about the median income thing that goes along with the low-income housing tax credit? Every time the median income in this county goes up, those people's rent will increase that same percentage. I lived in San Luis Obispo County years ago in an affordable housing complex called Villa Paseo Palms. I received a rent increase 3 times because San Luis Obispo's county median income raised. And each time it was a 3 to 5% raise. So my rent went up 3 to 5% on my apartment.
Thank you, Mr. Fry.
Thank you.
Jennifer Reinhardt, followed by Frank Nakare, followed by Ralph Martinez, followed by Laurie Lee.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Reinhardt. I've lived in Santa Maria since I was about 9 years old, and at Union Plaza for approximately 10 years. And I live on the south end of the building, and I'm looking out at the park, which has got beautiful trees and everything. When that building goes up, my view is going to be just of the building. And I don't think that's right for Santa Maria. And the children that are going to be moving in there, they're going to be, it's so busy there that they could get hit because they run around when they're not supposed to be running around. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you my view, and I think that the building is not feasible.
Thank you. Frank Nakari. Followed by Ralph Martinez, followed by Lori Lee, followed by Cliff Reynolds.
Hello, my name is Frank Nakapui. I came to Santa Maria in 1969, and I watched everything that had been going on, and this is the most catastrophic thing that I've ever seen. In spite of that, you know, I watched the park being built and stuff, and they used to have a concert there for the local bands. People, young people to go there and hang out, you know, and there was no trouble then. So why would you do that? Why would you put a building right there? It's a monumental thing over there from back in the 70s, and. Yeah, that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Ralph Martinez, followed by Lori Lee, followed by Cliff Reynolds.
Hello. Yes, my name is Ralph Martinez, and before I start, I would like all the concerned tenants from the Union Plaza apartment, which I'm part of, to please stand so the council can see how many of my fellow residents are here to see about this plan. Thank you very much, all. I'm the one that's responsible for getting 69 opposing forms filled out by myself and other tenants expressing their point and this permit not to be permitted. That is about 60% of the tenants in our building. My neighbor someone just talked about my neighbor being there for 19 years. He is going to lose his view. He expressed that he wasn't going to have it anymore, and I think that's cruel and unusual punishment for him to live the rest of his life. Last July the 16th at the Planning Commissioners meeting, Mr. Vernon, about approximately 1 hour, 10 minutes, I'll quote what he told the commissioner. He asked to deny this project, and he sat down. In other words, he was going to quit it, right? But the Commissioner Dickerson gave him one more chance to get a hold of all 14 residents on the south end of the building to relocate them. To my knowledge, that has not happened. It shows disrespect and disregard to an order that the commissioner had told him to do. So how could you believe anything that they have to say? He's going to say anything or try anything at that meeting on the fly of all the points that they were brought up to him. Also, Rosalind Perlman, she worked tirelessly on the Santa Maria Beautiful to get that park area from becoming a lot, and she did accomplish her goal. She would be rolling around in her death coffin right now if she knew that they were going to change her beloved Santa Maria. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lori Lee, Cliff Reynolds, Laurel Freeman.
Hi, my name is Lori Lee. I am the current project manager at Union Plaza Apartments. I'm not here to repeat the residents' concerns or those of the board members who oppose this project. I'm here to talk about Union Plaza itself. Union Plaza has proudly served Santa Maria's elderly and disabled for 50 years, celebrating our golden anniversary this July. We are a nonprofit. Our board takes no salary, and every dollar goes back into maintaining and improving the building. That's why Union Plaza is so well cared for. We pay our bills and our taxes on time, and we provide our own security and cameras so we don't burden city resources. Union Plaza has always been a good neighbor. We rent space at fair rates to a dental office and a hair salon that serve the community. We support local businesses, and during COVID, purchased food and supplies from these local businesses to help our residents and keep those businesses afloat. We never ask for discounts or favors. We want our partners to stay in business because being a good neighbor means supporting the community around us. We all are also good neighbors to our residents. We provide service coordination to ensure they get the care they need, and we protect them from people who might take advantage of seniors or disabled. We oppose the Perlman project. It's unsafe for the tenants it intends to house and will harm Union Plaza, who again has been a good neighbor to Santa Maria for over 50 years. It will make the south side of our building undesirable for current and future residents. This project feels like forcing a square peg into a round hole just to meet a mandate. Affordable housing is needed, but not at this location. Even the Planning Commission had serious concerns and wanted further study, but the developer pressured them into approval and made last-minute deals to offer our south-facing residents units without even consulting anyone. What kind of business does this before they even move in? They try to take away our business and pressure our tenants to move into their building. This doesn't fly with our residents or with our business, and we all see right through this ruse. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee. Cliff Reynolds, followed by Laurel Freeman, followed by B. Reynolds.
Good evening, council members. My name is Cliff Reynolds, and I am the president of the board of directors for Union Plaza Corporation. Our organization owns Union Plaza Apartments located at 120 North Broadway. I have two primary concerns related to the proximity of the new Perlman Apartments project to our property. The first has been rather well captured by our residents and staff that have spoken so far, so I won't spend a lot of time on that. I find it interesting that the solution of the builder to some of our issues is to take 14 of our residents and leave us with those apartments empty, and to also take our cell sites that generate monthly revenue for our project and put it on their building. Thank you very much. So the second and most urgent issue is related to a recently identified threat to the health and safety of Union Plaza staff and residents, as well as the residents of the proposed Perlman Apartments. The concern arises from the apparent failure of the Perlman Apartments project planners to identify and assess the very real issue of hazardous RF radiation being emitted from the cell site equipment located on the roof of Union Plaza. This equipment is operated by 4 cell phone companies and provides cell phone services to the Santa Maria area. These companies operate cell tower antennas as well as point-to-point microwave links. All of these antennas emit RF radiation at levels that can cause harm to any person or animal who remains in their proximity. Based on a recent physical site survey conducted on July 31st, 2025, by Mr. David Everett, RF Spectrum Manager at Vandenberg Space Force Base, a study must be performed prior to construction to ensure the public safety and regulatory compliance. Mr. Everett confirms that there is indeed a significant potential for RF radiation hazard to humans based on the orientation of the antennas on our roof. In closing, I urge City Council to pause any approval of this project until it can be looked into further. Thank you.
Thank you. Laurel Freeman, followed by B. Reynolds.
Hi, my name is Laurel Freeman. Good evening. I have been living at Union Plaza for 3 years. I'm a retired registered nurse and also a veteran. I strongly oppose the building at the 100 Broadway, North Broadway, because of the safety factors. There's going to be 2 very busy streets next to a multi-family building with children. That should raise some eyebrows right there. They're going to be crossing the street to park over at the parking areas because they don't have enough parking at that building. And so you're going to have families crossing the street. And I have observed, as well as all of us have observed, people do not always stop at red lights. They run them, or they don't watch when they're turning. So people are going to get hit. I'm afraid people are going to get injured crossing those streets trying to park over where they can find parking. And little children with those two busy streets is just... Anyway, the other concern I have is for emergency vehicles. I don't see where they're going to be able to park. There's just no place. Are they going to park on Main? Are they going to park on Broadway, holding up traffic? How are you going to get emergency vehicles in that area? Thank you.
Thank you. B. Reynolds.
Hello, my name is Beatrice Reynolds. I'm a staff member at Union Plaza Apartment, also a service coordinator. My position is to help advocate for the residents and provide services concerning their health and safety. One of the things that I want to address is you've heard it over and over again, is the view. Okay, so we have several residents who are either homebound or they're bedbound. And some of those residents are not here today to speak on, and I'm here to speak on their behalf. So one of the things that I do want to address that for many seniors, particularly those who have limited mobility or who have spent a significant amount of time in their room, having the view is critical. It's critical to their mental and their physical well-being. And how that impacts them is just not the sun, it's the engagement of not being able to participate like other people. I'm not going to try to get emotional, but so one of the things that it does when they can't engage with the community is that they look outside the park and they imagine what it was like when they were able to do so. And I know that when I visit the residents and I'm in their apartments and they have bedrooms situated where they can see the view, they can feel the sun, they can open the door, they can hear, because it's part of the engagement of still being able to do something that they no longer can. So I just am going to implore to please reconsider that building. We have the veteran that people keep mentioning. He is a Korean vet. We also have a couple of other vets who have that view, who have PTSD. They don't engage. They stay to themselves, but they need the view. So I just implore you to please consider that. It's not just the view. It's about their well-being, emotionally and physically. Thank you.
Thank you. I will close the public hearing. Back to the council.
During the downtown revitalization committee, when this project came to us, one of the concerns was traffic flow, given that residents exiting in their vehicles out of the parking lot would only have one direction in which they can turn into. And so I remember that being a point of discussion amongst the committee members, as well as the concern with emergency vehicles being able to get through as well. And I don't know what other conversations since then we've had with the developer about that.
As the entitlements are proposed, our traffic engineer as well as our fire marshal have fully reviewed and approved and are comfortable with the entitlements as proposed.
Councilmember Flores?
So I had a question. So for parking, I didn't see any loading zone, like emergency zone for like the people that had to come and they're gonna park across the street, they have to unload their groceries. So some of that, to me, is an issue when they have to park across the street, and I get what they're saying about crossing the street, and the street is so busy, you know, and people don't stop all the times at the lights. So my concern is when it's raining, or somebody doesn't see them, or has there been a study on, like, can we have like a loading zone? Is there a loading? I didn't see any loading zone or emergency zone for people to be able to park their cars there and to be able to, you know, go unload their groceries. And so to me, that's a big issue, is the parking. There's not enough parking on site, so now we have to use parking across the street, right? So for me, I get what the residents are saying. For me, that's a big issue, is parking, because I think about safety. I think about the weather. I think about the safety of people. We don't always walk that fast like young people, right? I don't. So, you know, I'm in the middle of a yellow light hoping that they won't hit me. So I think about all those things in my mind. So I was looking at, why isn't there a loading zone? Why isn't there this? And the parking, to me, is a big issue. It's a big, big issue when we have to park our residents across the street. I'm all for affordable housing. I think it's great. I think you guys did an awesome job. But the parking for our people, and if they're going to move in there, it's not safe. It is just not safe. I have big concerns about that.
Did you want to respond to the parking issue, or Mr. Vernon?
If you would like to speak, I'll.
Yeah, good question. And that was something that actually came up during Planning Commission. One of the changes that came from Planning Commission was that we relocated our elevator to the northeast corner, and there is a trash staging and loading zone. The trash staging, of course, would be a very limited type of thing, but the loading zone would be for move-ins, move-outs, drop-offs, pickups, etc. So that was a very good comment that came out of planning that we have adjusted, and you can see that in the northeast corner. Regarding the parking, we did, I believe we have 78 parking spaces within the podium. Being an affordable project and in the zone that it's in, actually no parking is required if we wanted to do that, but that's not what is best for the project. So we have tried to provide the maximum amount of parking, even though it's not a requirement, and we could have a zero parked affordable project under state law.
And who's going to maintain the parking across the street?
Right now, it's a city-maintained lot. Our development agreement calls for that to be provided to us by the city. I know that there are discussions on where that's going to go, and we're in constant discussion with the city staff about how to potentially improve that situation.
Any questions?
Yes, there was a mention that one of the commissioners asked you to contact the 14 tenants that are going to be affected by the view. Did you do that?
Yes, our office reached out twice, and the management was not interested in meeting with us.
Is management here today?
Mrs. Lee, yes.
Ms. Lee, can you come to the podium?
I received an email last Friday saying that they had come up with some kind of plan, but I don't think it's up to me to arrange a meeting with him and the tenants. And 3 days or 4 days before this meeting is when they decide to contact me.
Yes.
Hi, Cliff Reynolds again, President Board of Directors for Union Plaza. Currently, the residents that we spoke to were not interested in relocating. Initially, that was our indication from them. But also, we provide service coordination so that our residents have connections to county benefits. They have, connections to health benefits. They have connections to food bank and so on that's managed by Union Plaza. And in addition, to that, we have like an activities director that has weekly free activities for these folks. They live in a beautiful facility. If you haven't seen it, I'd be glad to show you around. But basically, they would be giving up living at Union Plaza to just move over. And the trade-off there, when you look at, these folks that are bedridden in some cases having to move to go to another facility and then give up their home. The residents we spoke to were not interested in it. So it's not just the management saying no. That's not the issue here.
So he did reach out, but the 14 people we're discussing were not interested.
He did not reach out to me, and I don't know the exact number of folks that were not interested. Do you?
I did the survey for the tenants.
Can you get to the?
I'm the one that's responsible, like I said earlier, to go have the tenants sign the opposition. And I talked to 13 out of the 14 residents, and they were not interested in moving. One didn't care, so I just asked her if she was aware of it. So I just left it as is. I'm not there to argue with them. I'm just there to listen to what they think. And like they were said, they weren't interested, and they just want to live there as peaceful as we're all old in there, and they're content to live there the rest of their lives. And like I said earlier, that this is going to be cruelty. It's just unbelievable that the city would even start, and even the developer. I talked to him at the last meeting on the 16th, and I said, you have a fine building. You're doing good things for affordability in Santa Maria. I just asked them and told them that it's just the wrong spot. There is a lot of other space in Santa Maria which would welcome them, get no opposition. They would just slide on through the planning commission and this council meeting just like that. Anywhere in Santa Maria would welcome, and especially to see a building that high, could see our views. I can see, I'm personally at the top floor, and I can see from the mountains in Nipomo all the way to the Orchid Hill over there. It's beautiful over there. The tops of trees, the hillsides. I can't wait for spring to see all the hills all green. It's beautiful out there. Almost all the residents at the Union Plaza have that type of view, no matter what face they're facing. And for them to build it somewhere else, that would give, all their residents would give what we have. Also, I would like to share with you that our staff that spoke here at this meeting, they are the best staff I've ever seen anywhere as far as caring and for the well-being of all our residents in our building. So that is why I'm here opposing this building, and I just hope the developer would consider some other site.
Well, I do have a response. You can, if there were other places that we could build, we would, but as you know, or you may not know, the city is fully built out. We're actually looking at annexing property because the city of Santa Maria has run out of locations to build. We are mandated by the state to provide housing. Just like anything, when you want to reduce the price of anything, you want to reduce the price of strawberries, Labubu characters, right? Beanie Babies, housing, you have to flood the market. The more there is of a product, the lower the price gets. And so if we know that in Santa Maria, we have nowhere else to build but downtown, that's where we have to do the building. My concern is that the people who do live there don't have the view that they used to, and that does affect your quality of life. And I want everybody to have the best quality of life that they can for the situation they're in. So I was concerned about the people who are homebound and cannot leave the house to go to a park and have a better quality of life. And that's what my concern was, whether those tenants were contacted and whether relocation was offered, right? But if it is offered and they choose not to take it, well, that's an individual decision that they've made that is best for them, right? But as a council member, I want to have so much housing that it's cheap for everyone to have housing, that we actually have affordable. Because if you ask me today, what is affordable? I can't tell you what's affordable in California, in the city of Santa Maria. But I know that the more housing we have, the less housing is going to cost, especially with low income being available. So I do hope that the tenants who were reached out do consider relocating if that is what they want. But as it stands right now, we are mandated to provide housing. We are out of property where we can build. And so there is no other location where we could have such a big project like this within city limits that we would be able to approve. Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes,
Just
Mr. Watson?
For clarification, you have not yet closed the public hearing, so I want to confirm that that was your intent after the comments were made?
Yes, I did close public hearing.
Okay, I did not hear it. Just want
Okay.
to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. When a developer comes in to build anything, they don't make the rules. They have to go by the rules. In the city of Santa Maria, we adopted our codes. They are based on what the state wants us to do. We don't go above and beyond on many things. There's times that the state does not require a lot of parking anymore. There are bills, housing bills, that I constantly oppose. I'm on the housing committee for the state in the League of Cities. There are bills I constantly oppose because I don't think they produce a quality of life, because they don't have certain things that I think are important in Santa Maria, and parking is one of them. We are being flooded with ADUs, which is the accessory dwelling units. Well, the state has said you don't have to have parking for those people. So now we have parking bumper to bumper on our streets. I don't like that. When first ADUs came in, we said, okay, the person living in the ADU has to be related to the person in the main residence. Well, a year went by and the governor said, no, you can't do that anymore. We had no control over how we wanted Santa Maria to grow. There is a housing apartments, you probably have seen it on Santa Maria Way, that was Senate Bill 35. They did not have to come to our planning commission. They did not have to ask us if they could build there. And they did not have to build all of the parking that should have been required for that building. They think that people over 55 don't drive. So they made many mistakes when they built that. But one of them, and I love to tell the story, is that they didn't have to come to our planning department to get okays on all the codes and everything. So they built that building. Well, come to find out, when they built the sewer, they didn't have the pipes big enough to hook up to the city pipes. So they wanted the city to allow them to put a pipe over 135 and have a pumping truck on the other side. Yeah, I laughed too. I thought you're kidding me. No, it was true. Okay. They have since remedied that. They didn't want to go to Caltrans because they would have to dig underneath. Caltrans says we're not shutting down 135. This is your problem. But these are things that come down from the state that we have to live with. Now, and I've told people, if you get to decide what is going to be built in your community, which you should have local control, which we don't, you want nice things built. But when the city has surplus land, the state can come in and build anything they want, and it can be so damned ugly you wouldn't even want it there. As I said, the developers don't make the rules. They have to go by the rules. And I understand, there's a lot of things I don't like being built in Santa Maria. I don't like ADUs. In fact, my husband even suggested one time, why don't we build an ADU? And I said, oh my gosh, you obviously haven't heard me talking about them. And there's things that, you know, we want so hard to keep Santa Maria looking nice the way Santa Maria is. And Mrs. Lee, I think you really hit it on the head when you said how much you guys do and what a nice place that is to live, because people need to enjoy the community and the neighbors that they live with. Unfortunately, like I said, some of the bills that come down from the state of California, if you live near, they call it a transit center, but I call it just a bus stop, you don't have to have extra parking for your development. There are so many things that ruin communities. We don't have neighborhoods anymore, if you haven't noticed. That is because the state legislature has not respected local control. And I give this speech whenever I go places. When see people from other states, they think I'm crazy, and I go, yeah, but that's California. And it's really, really unfortunate. And I appreciate so much all of you coming here tonight to let us know how you feel about this situation. But like I'm saying, the developers don't come in and make the rules. The state of California has made the rules. And our codes in the city of Santa Maria, we don't go over, and make it less pleasant for people to live here, because we really pride ourselves on what the kind of city Santa Maria is. Anyway, any other comments? I need a motion.
I move that we approve the project with the condition that the developer does reach out to those 14 tenants again and does give them the opportunity to relocate, so that it is on the record that it is a condition of approval, that the people will choose not to move, that's their decision.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Soto. Aye. Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo is absent. Mayor Patino.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming.
The final item on the agenda is a regular business item regarding city employee agreements. This report will be given by Chief Human Resource Officer Graciela Reynoso.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. This item is to bring before you the employment contracts.
Thank you. Thank you.
We do have National Night Out, right? Can we move to continue this item?
I don't think it'll be too lengthy.
Okay, go ahead.
So this item is to bring before you the employment contracts for City Manager David Rowlands and City Attorney Thomas Watson. The agreements are presented before you in your agenda packet and outline for you the terms and conditions of employment for the two individuals with the city.
Right.
Including.
So my request is that we continue this item until all 5 council members are here. And the reason is because the two individuals, the city manager and city attorney, are the only employees that the city council hires.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd like for the 5 council members to be present. Secondly, I did request on top of this that we approve a process as to how raises occur, and I don't see that this was included in here. We discussed that we wanted a process that we would follow every time besides just the reviews. And I believe that not all council members were able to do that. So that would be my request,
Okay.
or my motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Councilmember Soto. No. And Mayor Patino.
No.
Mayor does not, I'm sorry,
Okay.
motion does not pass.
Okay. You can continue now.
Thank you. So the contracts are included in your council agenda packet and outline the terms and conditions for each of the employees mentioned, city attorney and city manager. The contracts further outline other benefits that are afforded similarly to management individuals within the city already, such as holidays and vacation leave and things of that manner. Additionally, the contracts do outline that performance reviews will be conducted on an annual basis, generally beginning in around May or so, if I'm understanding correctly. And so what we bring today to you is a recommendation to adopt the resolutions to approve the contracts and the resulting salary schematic and job description attached to the agenda packet. And part of the reason that we present before council in open session is, of course, to get council approval and meet certain CalPERS and other regulatory conditions for public employment.
That's it? Okay. Any questions from the council? No. Ms. Soto?
I have questions for my colleagues. I know that in the last motion, there was a comment about processes and protocols. What processes do you want to see in place?
Well, there is no process and procedure in place, so we just discussed that we would come up with a process and procedure in order to avoid this, type of process that isn't really defined or outlined, right? So as an example, we have some public comment that the city manager has not been here for an entire year. I think that would be part of the process, that the person has to have the job for at least a year before we do a review and acknowledge or have sufficient data for the raise. Those are the types of things that I requested or we discussed, but I didn't see that here. It's like they brought the same motion or the same items without addressing. The biggest issue was that we don't have a process to approve the raises every year.
I thought it was my can we talk about closed session? No, right.
You can have an understanding.
It's been my understanding.
Had a discussion about.
It's been my understanding, or it was my understanding, that the process currently is that we would do performance evaluations every year, but that those weren't going to be dependent on, performance wasn't going to be dependent on the raises, was my understanding of the conversations we've had.
That's not what I understood. I understood we were going to do a review by every council member by August. So that's where I'm saying there's a lot of gray area confusion as to what is the process. We all are thinking different things, and there's nothing in writing that we've developed as the council for now or for future raises, which is really unfair to the city manager and city attorney for now and in the future.
May I ask why we're having the raises at this point and not waiting for the year?
Mr.
think-
Watson, do you want to answer that?
Well, again, I can't discuss what happened in closed session. I've been here 6 years, so you certainly can evaluate me. But the reality was that a lot of this, as you know, outside the discussion of closed session, is there was a compaction issue related to other salaries. And that was one of the things that was driving this. One of the reasons the contracts were rewritten was to incorporate a specific time period for which evaluations would take place. Between now and then, if it's the pleasure of council to create a policy as to future raises, which appears to be Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez's concern, that can certainly be developed within that time period prior to the next evaluation period. That had not been in the prior contracts, and that was one of the reasons the contracts were being revised and revisited. Partially, this is the structure of how evaluations were done had evolved over 3 city managers over a period of some 20 years and was undefined based on relationships between council and the city manager. And a more formal process is appropriate and is called for in the contract. So if there's policies and procedures that would like to be developed, we do now have time to do that. With respect to discussions about current activity, which would be appropriate for closed session, there was a discussion to bring back evaluations. Written documentation were provided to council, have not been returned, to my knowledge, from council to either the city manager or myself. We would welcome that, but we do feel it's important to solve the, I think part of it would be to solve the compaction issue as well. And that was one of the reasons to do it. So that is a request from the employees anyway.
Right. Right, yeah, my understanding was that this contract was coming before us to address the compaction issue that has been made aware, that we have been made aware of. And I also know that this is a conversation that we've been having for over 2 months now. And I would like for us to move forward with some sort of decision if possible, and still move, and also put in place the processes that have been brought up.
So when we had the compaction issue, which we dealt with through negotiations, then we had to, because what we do is we hire the city manager and the city attorney. And so then this all had to be changed according to California code, is my understanding. So you can't just cherry pick who you're going to do what to. Correct? You had to completely do the whole
So
code.
what I understood was that there was only a compassion issue with the city attorney, with the city manager, not with the city attorney.
That's right.
Correct?
Uh-huh.
Right.
But you couldn't do one without doing the other.
No, that's not true.
I'm not aware of any.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that's what I had
statutory
read in the staff
requirement.
report under the code.
And that was the other thing that I wanted to separate both contracts so that they're done at different times. I did remember mentioning that.
But I don't think that wasn't agreed upon by
No.
all council.
Right, so that's why I'm bringing it up now. So if you guys want to move forward, we can vote, however you guys want to proceed, but I would like to get.
I don't think it's going to go much further, given how the last vote went. What happens when it's
Okay, my
a tie?
understanding then is you want the procedure, the whole process done at the same time
Right.
as this?
What
Okay.
happens is with council, we all get busy doing busy things and we all have a lot of other city council items, right? So my desire was that we would develop the process now. I don't think it's that difficult, given that the city attorney would be, working on it, on the process that we would use now and moving forward. That was my request at the last meeting as well, because that's why I pulled it. I said, hey, this didn't happen. This item also didn't happen, but it's written that we had come up with a statement, that we had done reviews. I hadn't done a review, and when I checked with council members, they hadn't done a review. So we were making statements that we'd done things that we hadn't. And so that's when I said, hey, where is the process? Where's the procedure to get this accomplished? That's all I'm asking for.
Okay, Mr. Watson? Direction. What?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
How can I assist you?
Okay. So you want something that we do the process procedure at the same time we're doing this, is that? Okay.
Yes.
The only question I would have is, who am I going to dialogue about the process and procedure? Because otherwise, we're going to go through closed session after closed session after closed session, which,
Well, how do you develop other processes and procedures?
well, candidly, we did put in the contract that there would be a process and procedure in the sense that there would be an evaluation prior to the budget next year. So that, we believed, solved your concerns. But if there are additional concerns of a specific process, then I would be happy to dialogue that with you individually and come up with one. I don't know, because we have provided what the ICMA typically uses, which is a written document for feedback from council, which was provided to council for council's review. The only other thing we could do would be to mandate the council provide that, but on or before a certain deadline, which is actually a council item, not a contractual item. But I'm happy to do whatever is the pleasure of council.
Are you looking for the performance evaluation to be done in person?
That's what
aside from a written one?
No, we agreed as council to provide a written evaluation. That's what I believe was said, right? That we would have it by this meeting. So that's what I'm saying. People are having different things, different thoughts as to how we get here. And because it is the only 2 employees that the city council hires, and because they are large salaries and we are accountable to taxpayers, it make me feel better as a council person and as a taxpayer to say, this is the process we used, this is how we got here, right? This is moving forward. Than just where we're at right now, saying, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that in the future, and we don't really have anything concrete now.
Absolutely. What is the process that you would like to accomplish? And I'm happy to do it.
So should we have another closed session where we provide the
feedback?
The feedback, the
I think so.
performance evaluation? That's what I'm asking, because it's not just the written that you're asking for. It's also having the dialogue and the conversation.
Well, I think the dialogue would be based on the written. So in the past, what we've done is we've had a closed session where the council talks about the employee, right? We haven't had it at this time. Or I wasn't present. If you guys did, I don't know if that actually happened. Because I did go to Dayton, Ohio for the 1 week.
Well, we're not going to talk about what happened in closed session. So.
No, I'm saying whether that we were given the opportunity to have a dialogue as council about the employees we hire.
No, we didn't do that.
So if we were not given that opportunity, I think that's part of the process.
What's the current process for other employees?
The current process for other employees is to conduct either a 6-month and a 1-year evaluation of employees.
1 year?
6 months or a year?
6 month a year.
And do you sit down with the employee and have a back and forth?
Yes, there
during
should
the
be,
review?
Yes, what we call a review conference. So generally, the immediate supervisor will sit with the employee and go over a written evaluation form.
But is that different in this case because they are contracted?
This would be defined, frankly, by council because you are the appointing authority.
Okay, so I'm reading here, in order to implement any salary adjustment to salaries paid by the city must present the intended adjustments for approval by the city council. So public employees retirement law regulations require that the governing board adopt one comprehensive pay schedule that includes all employee classifications whenever any salaries change. And
yes,
that's where I thought the compaction came in. And it changed.
And
Okay.
because the 2 salaries that are proposed for Mr. Watson and Mr. Rowlands are a change in salary, specifically, we need to come before council to get approval to implement a salary change. per CalPERS regulations.
Okay. Okay, do I have a motion here on anything?
On anything. I think we come back.
Okay, so this will have to go into a closed session item, correct? Okay.
So again, a written evaluation document has been provided to
Okay,
council.
so we had that written evaluation, and
I
and
have mine.
this is months ago, and nobody turned theirs in except me.
Well, I have mine done today, because it was due today. That's what I understood.
Okay. Back to closed session, and we'll take this up in closed session.
As part of the process, could we get the written evaluations 1 week prior to, so
Yeah.
that we could
Okay.
provide
Right.
responses to it?
Okay,
So we're doing written evaluations. Okay.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, we're doing an
If you don't have them, we
evaluation,
will resend them.
that written evaluation, and get them in. Right,
Resend it.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Can I get a raise?
Okay. So how are we going to finalize that item? Just leave it?
We
No,
don't,
we're going to come
Continue it?
back at the next meeting.
Right, but we have
closed
to
session.
vote on it, right? We have to vote?
no, we
to send
actually,
it?
we can just give them direction to do that, right?
We've received direction to bring us a closed session item, have a written evaluation, and then this item will be placed back on the agenda at the next council meeting.
Right.
Is
So-
that your understanding?
No, so this is a regular business item, so I think we have to have a motion to take it to closed session.
Not
No?
if
No?
it didn't.
No.
It is an evaluation of personnel, and under the government code, that is an allowable closed session, doesn't require a motion. However, if you want to move to continue this with those two caveats, that we would receive the written evaluation and that we would have a closed session prior to this regular business item coming back on September 16th, that would be an appropriate motion.
Okay, so I just want to make sure we weren't required to, because it is an open item that we did receive comment on.
It will be an open item again.
Okay.
It would have to be because it's required
Okay.
for our contract.
Do you want to go ahead and make the motion? Oh, okay.
yes
well,
or no?
You can make the motion?
Please make a motion, it'll be
Yeah,
fine.
go ahead, that way it's
Okay.
defined.
I move that item 13A is moved to closed session to develop the items that were discussed today.
I'll second.
You want to clarify process and
May I
procedure?
clarify, just so I
Yes.
understand it?
Yes.
That the
So that we all
process,
understand.
that the process, as defined, will be a written evaluation from the ICMA document that was provided to council previously, that document will be provided from council to the two staff members 1 week prior to that closed session. There will be a closed session on September 16th, or the next council meeting if one is earlier. And that at that time, there will be a discussion with council about our performance, and on that same agenda will be a regular business item consisting of these contracts as set forth in this current agenda.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, that's the motion you want to make?
Yes.
Okay, that's the motion. Do I have a second?
Do you
I'll
want to?
second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Before I do so, I did want to mention we did receive one written comment for this item, and it is available on our website.
Okay.
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Councilmember Soto.
Aye.
And Mayor Patino.
Aye. Next will be a report by City Manager, Mr. Rollins.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's a couple items for upcoming council meeting. In September, we look at our pavement management presentation, an appointment to the Recreation and Parks Commission. We'll talk about revising our contract with Guadalupe for dispatching services. And that's all that we have a national night item to get to.
Thank you. Now we'll go for oral reports of council members. Who wants to start?
I will.
Go ahead, Mrs. Flores.
Thursday, July 10th, Police Explorer graduation. Monday, July 14th, the BGAC meeting. July 17th, community meeting in Santa Barbara. Tuesday, July 22nd, the ribbon cutting ceremony for DeJoy and Pocket Park. And then July 31st, Public Works Barbecue.
Thank you. Ms. Aguilar Hernandez?
Nothing.
Ms. Soto?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I'd like to start by expressing my concern of the recent ice raids that we've seen in Santa Barbara and Ventura counties and the impact that those have had on the quality of life of our residents here in the city of Santa Maria. And I'd like to propose to my colleagues the opportunity to engage with me by bringing in community stakeholders and leaders for a dialogue about the impacts that these ice raids the impacts and repercussions that these ice raids that we're seeing here in our region, the impacts of those in our community, in our city. And so I like to propose that. And then be able to come back to City Council to share out what we hear from stakeholders.
That's your report? That's all your report?
That's my request. That's
Okay.
my report.
Okay. On July 2nd, I attended, I attended the community coffee of the Rotary Fireworks booth. On the 8th, I attended Vandenberg Space Force Base, the change of command ceremony. On July 9th, the North County Sub-Regional Board meeting. I attended July 10th, the 2025 Police Explorer graduation. On the 11th of July, I attended a meeting with the Airport Specific Plan Update. Met with Congressman Salud Carbajal in the afternoon discussing the VA clinic. July 14th, the BGAC Community Needs Workshop and SBCAG monthly board meeting on July 17th. On the 18th, I did the Rick Blameyer radio show, telling him and informing the community about things that are going on. July 19th, I attended the Growing Grounds Farm anniversary. And on the 20th, the DeJoy Pocket Park dedication ceremony. We have 2 new pocket parks in the city of Santa Maria that are absolutely beautiful. On the 25th, I did a Care Court peer training webinar. On the 28th, I did a West Coast Customs car meeting. On the 29th, I did the Elected Leaders Forum agenda meeting on homeless. And the Santa Maria Probation Report and Resource Center graduation. And this morning I did the Ben Hayes show. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting is
Madam Mayor,
adjourned.
before you adjourn the meeting.
Go ahead.
I will note that other than by making requests like the one that I made during my report out, it's difficult to ask for the opportunity to agendize things. And so these are really the only opportunity that council members really have to dialogue with other council members and to see if this is an item that they would be interested in, or a discussion that they would be interested in engaging in. And so I just want to state that I put out a ask to my colleagues, and I want to give them the opportunity to share whether or not they would be interested in engaging and in joining me in this effort in bringing in community stakeholders who and provide them with the opportunity to share the concerns that they may have of how ice raids in our region may be impacting residents.
Okay, thank you. And with that, if there's anyone who feels this way, if you could please contact Mr. Rollins.
Well, I guess I have a question for Councilmember Soto. So it would mean that
the council has meetings with the stakeholders?
Yeah, so it'd be essentially a subcommittee of the council. Anybody who would want to join me in bringing stakeholders together, that whether that may be from the ag sector, nonprofit sector, public safety, just to have a conversation with these stakeholders about what they're seeing on the ground, the impacts of community, and then coming back to the council, having this be an agendized item where we just provide a report out on those conversations and discussions that we had with stakeholders.
Okay.
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 Thank you.
So if anybody
you.
wants to join me in that dialogue, or in bringing folks together,
So do we just contact you?
would that be me or would that be our city manager?
No, I think what you're asking is, the next councilman will bring a report to establish an ad hoc committee, and then from there, we can go from there, because right now, there's nothing to establish that committee. So we bring that back
Put it on the
for asking
agenda.
for the committee.
Oh, so it'd be,
So the ad hoc, you say, I would like to be on it, and somebody else would be on it, we go and meet with those groups, and after you meet with them, come back and share with city council the public.
But we need to put it on the agenda.
Correct.
Okay.
to form an ad hoc committee.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You got that, Mr. Rowland? Okay, thank you. This meeting is adjourned.